This is the Team Corelli Spark. This is the Team Corelli Syncro 4. You might find yourself asking, what's the difference? And that's what we're going to cover in today's video. All right, what is going on, everybody? Tyson here with Garage Life RC, and I have with me here on the bench the Team Corelli Spark XB6 and the Team Corelli Syncro 4. And one of the things, the Spark has been out for a few months now, then just recently the Syncro comes out, and when you look at them online and you're just seeing videos and everything like that, and you're seeing that they're both 1/8 scale, you're just like, well, what the heck is the difference? What is the difference between the two? So I wanted to get both of them and see for myself what the differences are, because I thought, okay, they're going to be pretty similar, the same. One's a 6S system and one's a 4S system, and that's about the difference. And that is wrong. There is a lot more difference than that. So let's dig into comparing these two a little bit and some of the differences that you see between the two, so you can decide which one might be the right one for you. So starting off on the left hand side, you have the Spark XB6. Just looking and comparing the two bodies, they're slightly different on the body side of things, but not a whole ton. But one of the things that you see up front here right away is the A-arms, the control arms. They're both different. So these are not cross compatible. They are different numbers. I suppose you probably could change them out for each other if you wanted to, but they're not the same part number on each truck. So I would assume, you know, if you wanted to put the Spark ones on to the Syncro, you could. But they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive and a little bit different. They are designed a little bit different. You also see the body has the nose up here on the Spark. It does not on the Syncro, but the spot is really here. I mean, you could screw one on and be just fine. The spot is, there's a screw hole right there for it. There's also the mount here for the sway bars, but that does not come with a sway bar, as to where the Spark does come with the sway bars. The shocks are a little bit different. As you can see, these are black shocks here. They're still aluminum shocks. These are aluminum shocks. These have plastic collars, as to where you have the red aluminum collars here on these shocks. I think that's pretty close to about the differences on the shocks, really. I don't think there's a whole ton of difference. They both feel really good, so I'm not really worried about the shocks on that side of things. You also do have two different sets of tires with a little bit different design in the spokes that you can see there. So just a little bit different design, but those should be cross compatible with each other as well. The wings are just a little bit different. This wing on the Spark is the same wing as on the Kagama, which is the four-wheel drive truck. This wing on the Syncro, I don't think shares with anything with any other wing. I also think this wing on the Spark might be the same one as the Suga. Not 100% sure. I have to put them side by side, which I'll do in a future video as well, because the Suga is another buggy from Team Corelli. Bodies are just, again, a little bit different, but still staying up front and hitting on that real quick. The out cups on the differential are a little bit different. The Spark has the spring steel cups, as where we just have metal cups over here. I've never destroyed a regular Team Corelli outdrive cup. Definitely haven't destroyed the spring steel either. You have the retaining collars for the pillow balls here that go onto the control arm, so you don't screw in the pillow ball too far. You do not have that over here on the Syncro. So a little bit of differences there. Looking at the shock towers, you can see a little bit of difference, but what you don't see is what's behind some of it, right? So you can see through here, you can see the 7075 aluminum shock tower here. Here it just looks like plastic. I haven't taken this plastic top off. I do not believe that there is aluminum under here, but it kind of looks like there could be. But I believe it's just there's a mount in here that's aluminum that goes across that ties in. I don't think this goes all the way up into the plastic. I think it is a plastic shock tower. But again, I believe there is an upgrade online where you can upgrade this over there. Moving a little bit further back, we'll take the bodies off here. of these two. And that's where, you know, a quick look, they still appear pretty much the same. But if we were to prop these up, let's just prop them up like this and hope that they'll stay and we can see in here. But if you prop them up like that and you go ahead and you take a look in, you can see that there's a little bit of a difference here. And this is all mainly in the front shock towers here and the way the body post is. But this steering, the top of the steering is a little bit different here, but has the same mounts on it as well. So here you can see you got this round cutout with the two holes here, which goes to the back to the same thing. That is, you could purchase this center brace separately if you wanted and put that center brace on. It's got everything there to do that. So the differential and everything here is cross compatible. Again, you got the steel outdrive cups here, as to where over here you have the spring steel. You have a little bit different of a receiver box, but not a ton different. Realistically about the same size, just a tiny little bit of different design on the two, because this one doesn't quite have as wide of area to fit it in. So pretty close to the same as where it holds your servo. And then you have your steering box in, or your receiver in here on both of them. Receivers in here. In here, you do have your servo mount, and it's all connected there, which is fine. They are not the same thing, but they're pretty close to the same aspect of things, which can be good or bad depending on what you think of the whole design there. And then moving over into the battery tray, same thing, the same style battery tray there. So moving back, and when you buy them on a ready-to-run version, you do get the 6S capable 825, Curon 825 in here, and the Torox 185 in here. So this is the 6S version. That is like the Hobbywing Max 8 right here. This version over here, you're getting the Curon 725 and the Torox 135. These are like the Hobbywing Max 10 system, so you're up to 4S capable on there. Moving a little bit further back, you can see there's a little bit of difference here in the rear shock towers. The Syncro, again, has the plastic shock tower, which has the built-in wing mount here, and then the perch for the shocks. Also, over here you have the 7075 aluminum with the detachable wing mount, and then the metal on the shock standoffs. And then you also have the colored aluminum red in here, as to where over here you got plastic clips. So the spacers over here on the rods are aluminum, spacers over here are plastic. Moving a little bit further to the back, we'll just turn these guys around here. So turning these guys around again, when you look at the back, pretty similar style. Again, the wing mount is a little bit different because this one's built into the shock tower. This is the detachable wing mount. And then you have the sway bar set up on here, again with the spring steel there. And over here, you don't have the spring steel. And then again, the shocks are a little bit different, just like the front. Wings, pretty much the same style, but they are not the same exact wing. They're a little bit different. The Syncro wing has holes up here, a little bit higher, as to where the Spark wing has the cutouts here. Looks a little bit more racy, in my opinion. And then you have the bottom, which is pretty close to the same, except the Syncro says Syncro, and a little bit different of color. This is more like titanium. This is a black here. There is a couple different little cutouts on the Spark that the Syncro does not have. So for screw access here, so this chassis might actually be a cross-compatible chassis with a different vehicle. Not 100% sure. And then this one might be made specifically for the Syncro because it says Syncro on there. It doesn't have a lot of the cutouts, but this has some screw holes in here that might be for a different vehicle. It might even be cross-compatible with the Kagama, and actually I think it is. So if you were to look at it and you look at like just the chassis of the Kagama and this, they do look pretty similar to the same. And where you have these holes here on the Spark would be here for this. Not quite sure. There might be something underneath holding the differential on underneath this, but the front has it as well there. So that could be the same cross-compatible chassis. They look exactly the same, just a little bit different with the sides that we have on each of them. So all in all, when you're comparing the Spark to the Syncro, the first thing you have to think about is, do you want 4S or do you want 6S? Because when you buy them on a ready-to-run, You have 6S on the Spark, 4S on the Syncro. Can you upgrade this to 6S? 100% absolutely, but if you're going to upgrade the system to 6S, you might as well just jump right into the 6S Spark. That's the first thing I think about. Do I want 6S? Do I want 4S? And then obviously the price difference. There's a decent amount of price difference. This is $529 for the 6S with a lot of these upgraded parts. And then you come over here to $369, which for a ready-to-run 4S buggy, $369 is pretty solid, and you get Team Corrale name standing behind it. Now, does it hold up as capable as the Spark? I'm not sure, but we're going to test that out and find out. Does a bent shock tower up here cost more to replace than a plastic one that's broken? Probably. So how well do these shock towers hold up compared to the plastic shock towers? That's something that we're going to figure out. And one thing that I'm going to do is throw a 6S system in here just for you guys to test out and see, does this Syncro with a 6S system hold up as well as the Spark with the 6S system? That's something that I want to test. You have a little bit difference of the tires. I don't know that there's going to be one or the other that's a pure winner all across the board. If there is, in my opinion, it's probably going to be the Syncro ones, just because that's a familiar look and feel to what we're used to. I've never had any problems with tires that look like this either from Team Corrale. I've always liked Team Corrale tires, so I think they'll be fine there. Overall, I do love the looks. I think the red bodies, in my opinion, are my favorite, mainly because the way Team Corrale does their accents, they're red all the time. So with the red accents, with the red body, it's super cool, but you can also get green and red. The Syncro is also available in orange as well. And both of these on Team Corrale's, actually the Syncro on Team Corrale's website is out of stock. It's coming soon, but it is available here in the United States. I do have them on my website available for $369.99, available for immediate shipping. One thing that I do like both of these have is it's kind of hard to see probably on camera here, but with these buggy bodies, they have a spot in the chassis that goes up and it holds the front of your body in. I've always liked that aspect of Team Corrale and what they do with their buggies. It's not on the Asuga, which we'll compare here shortly in a different video, but between these two, overall look and feel and size are pretty close to identical. You might struggle on the Syncro if you were to say, like, I want to take it up to a 6S system. You might struggle a little bit to find a 6S battery that fits in here with the low profile of the body over here. As I know on the Spark, some of the 6Ss get really close to hitting as well, and that body sits up just a little bit higher. But the overall wheelbase, you're basically identical. Overall width, you're basically identical. Everything that comes on the Spark is basically an upgrade version for the Syncro. So the Syncro would be your 4S plastic system to get in, if you want a decent price with some decent upgrades like the aluminum drive shafts, steel drive shafts. Great on there. Probably going to be a great 4S vehicle. Then you get to the upgraded version, and you're looking at so many different upgrades on this vehicle comparative to this one, and you're looking at, just $150 difference, roughly. So for $150 more, you're getting the 6S system and a lot of the upgrades. If you were to add all those upgrades to this and even be on a 4S, you're probably at a $150 difference. I haven't gone down and written down every single part between the two to see if there's $150 of upgrades on here, but when you're talking 4S to 6S, you got to take into account a little bit for the system change too, right? So between a 4S system and a 6S system, there's some dollar differences right there. Either way, I don't think you can go wrong. I think it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for 6S power and speed, or are you looking just for an awesome bash buggy to have fun with? I've always found 4S is really good, and on the weight and size of these things, I think 4S is going to be more than sufficient as well. I think you're going to have a lot of speed, a lot of power, and a lot of fun with probably a little bit less breakages than you're going to have on 6S power, where you have to worry about differentials, drive shafts, and then just going at faster speed for landing harder. So in my opinion, I think just without taking both these out and bashing with them over time, I think the Syncro is probably going to be my favorite of the two. But I'm not sure. I want to get them both out on 6S, 4S, and run them, put them through the Garage Life RC paces and bashing, and see which one I prefer long term. So that has been a look at the differences between the Team Corrale Spark and the Team Corrale Syncro 4 that just came out. So again, first looks, comparison between the two. So hopefully you can help, hopefully I can help you decide which one would be right for you. Thanks for checking this video out. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Everything that you guys do helps me grow as a person and as a channel, so I really appreciate that. And until we talk to you guys again soon, don't forget, confidence is free, so take some for yourself.